right. So I want to talk about my top lead source. And we talk about this all the time, Todd, real estate conversations. But it truly is my top lead source. I don't pay for Facebook ads. I don't really do much of any advertising because this is where I get my leads. So it starts with the mindset that I go into it going, especially when I write out my business plan or I review my business plan. This is a lead gen. It's not just, oh, I'm trying to go out and have conversations. I walk into every day trying to have a real estate conversation with someone. So you have to be very intentional about it. Wherever you're at, I'm always trying to have real estate conversations with people. This is my goal when I meet new people anywhere, or I'm on the phone and calling my sphere of influence. I'm wanting to have real estate conversations with people, and without being salesy, and we'll talk about that. But I maintain, we preach to our team all the time. People do not want to talk to an agent. They don't like us. Okay, and we're kind of somewhere around used car salesman in a lot of people's eyes, but everybody I come in contact with, whether it's my Uber driver, bartender, wherever I'm at, everybody wants to talk about real estate. It's what's on everybody's mind.
And again, it should be when you're having in any environment whatsoever, Michael, we've talked about this for years. How do you work a room? How do you work a room when you know there's 10 other realtors in that room, or probably more? The fact is, what are you talking about? That's really what makes the difference. And you have to come prepared, which means you have to have already had the mindset of, this is what I'm going to talk about when people come up to me today. Mm-hmm. And I know my stuff. I know the numbers. I know that my conversations are going to be different than what the other realtors in the room are probably going to be having with the people they're talking to. And so as a result, this is what's going to set me apart and make me an expert in that room, so that more people will, well, wait a minute, that person talked to you about real estate and they said that? No, you need to go talk to that guy over there, because he's the guy that really has the command on the market.
Yeah, and so what I mean by being intentional about it, I mean, every year when I'm working on my business plan, I list what are going to be my top lead gens sources for the year, and this is one of them. I mean, it's literally, it's always at the top. Number two, know what's on people's minds, and we say this every week. Okay, if everybody wants to talk real estate, then what's on their mind? What is it about real estate that they want to talk about? I always say you got to be ready to answer the question, what do you do for a living? If somebody comes up to you and asks you what you do for a living, and you say, I'm a realtor or I'm a real estate agent, I always say it's equivalent to walking down the road to Jerusalem screaming at the top of your lungs, you're a leper, because people are going to run from you because they're going to think you're trying to sell them something. So you need to be very creative. You mentioned earlier, if someone asked me for a living, this is what I used to tell people, I'm a real estate problem solver. People are like, what does that mean? I'm a real estate strategist. Come up with something that is creative, that's going to elicit curiosity. And then how I get, and people go, well, how do you get real estate conversations started? Well, I ask people what they do for a living, because then they're going to reciprocate. What do you do for a living? Well, now I have a catchy response. Now we're into a deeper conversation. Know your tool belt in order to collect data. I use my mobile app constantly when I'm having a real estate conversation with somebody and I need to get their name and phone number. Boom, I'm sharing it right on the spot. Your West USA website. West USA's got a ton of different tools that you can use. Know your tool belt, and always remember the top goal. Always the top goal when you're having a conversation with someone. Set the appointment.
Yeah, I think another thing, Mike, when they're in those environments, when all of us have been in those environments, and when people are about to be in those environments, hopefully moving forward, we have a tendency to want to put however many years we've been doing this into our conversation. Not, I've been doing this for 30 years. No, I'm saying we want to give people 30 years worth of advice. And the problem is that's an hour and a half conversation. The fact is that you need to have, we've talked about elevator pitches. I'm not going to say it the same way. I'm not saying an elevator pitch, but what I'm saying is you've got to present information in such a way without giving them all the information, keeping like the bait on the hook for you to say to them, and listen, I know tonight we're having a wonderful time, we're at this great event, I don't want to waste your time with detailed information. However, this is the recap of what I'm seeing in the market, blah 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 blah. And if you'd really like to see how this might affect your personal needs, give me a call. Here's my number, let me call you. Can we schedule Tuesday at 2?
Yeah, I'm really big on elevator pitches. So I have my response. I've got my elevator pitch, and I think it's well crafted so that people go, oh, and now they're going to ask additional questions, and that's what you want. And then the third point is, know what's on people's minds. I forgot to change the title, but or the top one. But anyways, they want to know, is the market going to crash? That is what they are talking about with their friends. As a matter of fact, people come to me all the time and say, yeah, the market's going to crash. Like, okay. They want to know about inventory. They want to know where inventory is. They want to know, are we heading towards a recession? And how does a recession impact the real estate market? And they want to know about rates. So I know, to your point, if I'm at a party and I'm having a conversation with someone and we begin to talk about real estate, these are the things that they're talking about, the things that they're curious about. And then often I'll just, when I call people or I end that, my elevator pitch, it's, what I know these are the things on people's minds. What questions do you have about the market? And that's not being salesy. That's just, providing valuable information. People don't care about comps and all this stuff. They want to know what's going on in the market right now.
How's it going to impact me?
Yeah.
Well, what is impacting me? All of those types of things. Remember, it's very individual. It's no longer a 30,000 foot view of the market or a global view of the market. It's what's their view of the market, and what can you basically say? And Mike, we've also talked about it for years, which has been, even a brand new salesperson has a place utilizing your tactics here in an environment in which they would, because of the fact that it's all basically about providing them with the three resources, which is inventory, recession, interest rates, things of that nature. Those are the things that are on people's minds. But at the same token, you have the ability to basically bait them into wanting to have a conversation with you after. I just want to make sure we haven't lost the mindset on the first part, which is ultimately you have to end up getting an appointment.
And you're talking about, if you are a brand new real estate agent, I know one of the biggest stresses for an agent is I don't have experience, and what happens if somebody asks me how many homes I've sold. If you enter a conversation knowing your numbers, listening every Monday morning to your numbers and knowing and can answer these questions, I can guarantee you your level of conversation is going to ensure that they never ask you how many homes you've sold, because you're going to come off incredibly experienced and incredibly knowledgeable. And this is what people are looking for. All right, so that is our 3-pack. All right, we're going to